All right, let's talk about something we all use pretty much every single day without even thinking about it: GPS. But this isn't going to be about finding the closest Starbucks. We're going to dive into something a lot weirder: a strange, invisible conflict where our digital maps are actually being turned into weapons.
So it all starts with these events that honestly just don't make any sense. Picture this. You're looking at a flight tracker over the Middle East, and suddenly you see commercial airliners just teleporting. I mean, literally jumping from one country to another in a split second. Flying in these totally impossible zigzag patterns, it's wild.
And if you think that's strange, on the seas, it gets even weirder. You've got these maritime networks showing enormous cargo ships. We're talking 300-meter-long vessels that should be out in the Arabian Gulf, suddenly appearing hundreds of miles inland. Just stranded, digitally, right in the middle of the desert.
Then there's what's happening on the ground, where regular people are getting caught up in all this chaos. Imagine you're a Tesla driver, or an Uber driver, or you're just trying to get your food delivered in a city like Dubai, and suddenly your car's navigation system insists you're not in the city at all. Nope, you're hundreds of kilometers away, lost somewhere out in the wilderness.
So, what in the world is going on? I mean, at first you think, okay, must be some weird software glitch, right? But the truth is, it's way more deliberate than that. What we're seeing are the very real side effects of an invisible weapon, a weapon that's being used right now in an active conflict zone. This whole thing has a name. It's called GPS spoofing. And no, this isn't some concept from a sci-fi movie. It's a real strategic tool being used today to defend against threats like drones and guided missiles. And it's completely changing the modern battlefield. And what's really fascinating here is how the role of GPS in warfare has just completely flipped on its head. I mean, think back to the 1991 Gulf War. Back then, the US had exclusive access to just a handful of GPS satellites, and they used it as this incredible offensive weapon. But today, the game is all about anti-GPS. It's not about attacking anymore. It's about defending by creating pure digital confusion. Okay, so to really get how this manipulation works, how you can trick GPS, we first need to pull back the curtain and see how it works in the first place. And honestly, its simplicity is genius. It's a total marvel of engineering. So the whole system, the entire magic of GPS, is built on this one core principle called trilateration. Now, I know that sounds like a super complex, sciencey word, but the idea behind it is actually incredibly simple. It all boils down to measuring distance by using time. Okay, so check this out. You've got these satellites orbiting way up there, like 20,000 kilometers above our heads, and all they're doing is constantly beaming down a simple message: the exact time. Your phone catches that signal and goes, okay, how long did it take for that message to get to me? Based on that, it knows you're somewhere on the edge of a huge circle. Then a second satellite signal comes in, creating another circle, and suddenly you're at one of the two spots where those circles cross. And then, bam, a third signal comes in, and that final circle intersects at only one of those points. And that's it. That's your exact location. All right, so now we know GPS is all about listening for these super faint, super precise time signals from space. And because we know that, it's pretty easy to see the two main ways you can attack it. You've got the brute force method, and then you've got the much, much smarter, more deceptive method. So here's the best way to think about it: the differences between shouting and lying. Jamming, that's the shout. You just take a powerful transmitter and blast out a ton of static on the exact same frequency as the GPS signal. It just drowns everything out. Poof, everything in that area goes dark. But here's the problem. A drone or a missile just goes blind, right? It could crash anywhere. Spoofing, though, that's the lie. Instead of just noise, a spoofer sends out a fake GPS signal that looks totally legit, but it's stronger than the real one, and it has a deliberately wrong time baked into it. Your phone or a drone latches onto that stronger signal and thinks it's real, and suddenly it's calculating a completely wrong location. This is how you can gently nudge a drone away from a city and have it land safely in an empty desert. Now, being able to safely redirect threats like that, that's a huge advantage for any military, right? But here's the catch. When you create this giant bubble of fake GPS data, the entire civilian world, which has become, let's face it, totally dependent on this stuff, well, it starts to break down in some really dangerous and totally unexpected ways. And I mean, really think about the ripple effects here. This is so much bigger than your Uber app not working. We're talking about a commercial pilot's instruments lying to them about their altitude, disabling the very warnings that stop them from flying into a mountain. We're talking about giant cargo ships being sent off course, running aground. Or imagine this: ambulances being sent to a fake address in the middle of a life-or-death emergency.
But the biggest, most hidden danger of all this? Well, it has nothing to do with where you are on a map. It has everything to do with time. And the margin for error here it's just terrifyingly small.
You see, it turns out those GPS satellites don't just tell us where we are. They have these unbelievably accurate atomic clocks on board, and our entire global financial system, I mean every single stock trade, every crypto transaction, relies on those clocks for its timestamps. So if a spoofer sends a fake signal that throws that time off by just 1 millisecond, 1,000th of a second, it could corrupt the entire financial record. We're talking about a potential market crash, all from a tiny, invisible lie about what time it is. And look, this isn't just some what-if scenario. This threat is very, very real. The power of GPS spoofing was shown to the entire world in what might be one of the most brilliant and audacious military heists in modern history. So let's go back to December 2011. A top-secret, cutting-edge American stealth drone is flying a spy mission over Iran. Now, the Iranians didn't try to shoot it down. No, they did something much smarter. They spoofed its GPS. They started feeding the drone fake coordinates, tricking its navigation system into thinking it was safely heading back to its base in Afghanistan. And the drone's autopilot? It just bought it, hook, line, and sinker. It followed the fake signals and executed a perfect autonomous landing, right on an Iranian airbase. They didn't hijack it. They tricked it into hijacking itself. That moment, that was a massive wake-up call for everyone. It proved, right then and there, that you could defeat the most advanced military hardware in the world, not with a missile, but with a clever piece of code. It was a signal that the very nature of warfare was changing, right under our noses. So what does this all mean? It means future wars won't just be fought with bullets and bombs. They're going to be fought with invisible radio waves and data manipulation. The winner might not be the side with the most firepower anymore. It might just be the side that controls the information. And all this really leaves us with one pretty unsettling question. We have built our entire modern world on these invisible signals from space. We use them to navigate, to communicate, to run our financial markets. But what happens when we can no longer trust them?